series. I'm in the middle of 69. I still love that. Still love that. Yes, I've not started a new one. Well, technically I did, but it was only book out series, so it's in the caught up section, so it doesn't count. It's currently reading series. Speaking of currently reading series, in the end of around October and end of September, I want to say 5 or 6 maybe series that I was in the middle of but caught up on had new releases. And they're no longer caught up on, but there's like one more book to either finish the series or be caught up again. So like, I should do that type thing. I can only think of 4 off the top of my head, which is great. I'm gonna have to try to remember what the other 2 are. But that's what this is. This is me continuing series. I'm trying to finish my series. That's the moral story. I'm trying to get it down to 50. But also keep it down in general, which is a big issue for me. Especially with me doing videos where I have it's like a whole thing where I'm always starting a new series because of that. The one good piece of news is I've gotten much better at DNFing series, not finishing, DNFing series, so let's go. Now, the reason why I'm rush finishing this before I've drinking my coffee is because the first book we're going to talk about is one that is, of the 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, 2 of them are trad published and popular. And this is one of them, and is due back to the library in 13 hours. So it's going to take like at least 2 months for me to get it back, but it's shorter, and also I've already started it. I just finished chapter 3 at like 7 in the morning. Don't worry about it. Yes, I did briefly wake up at 7 in the morning, read a chapter, and then go back to sleep. That's how you live life. I don't know how I feel about that's how you live life with this book in particular, but anyways, currently reading, either is What Stalks Sleep or What Wakes Sleep. I can't remember. Which is the 3rd book in the Sworn Soldier series by T. Kingfisher, which is a series about a sworn soldier, I can't remember their name, like ever, who is from this small European country. I'm pretty sure it's made up, but listen, I went to American public school. You think I know other countries? Bitch, you're lucky I know our states, okay? I don't even know the capitals of most of those states, okay? Anyways, so, that country has a bunch of different pronouns. Like there's she, her, they, but there's also like different pronouns for God, different pronouns for children, different pronouns for rocks, like a bunch of different stuff like that, right? And different pronouns for soldiers. And soldiers are sworn soldiers. That's what the main character is. And so they generally are genderless, is the type of thing. And so that's like a whole thing that's gonna be a thing in this book. I've already highlighted a bunch because of that. Anyways, the first book, they were hanging. It was, I think it was a retelling of the House of Usher. Is that the name of that book? That I know there's also a Mike Flanagan the Netflix show that I still haven't watched, and I really should do that after I read this. Anyways, there's a weird thing about a hair and a mold. And there's an American doctor that's important for this one. Second one, they return back to their home country / home in general. There's weird things with a lady and a horse. I liked the second one more, I believe. I think I rated the first one 4 and the second one 4.5. Don't quote me on that. This one is the American doctor from the first one has hit up our main character and is like, hey, I need your help immediately. So they're immediately on the way to America, which is short-ish post Civil War. So that's great. That's great. There's also listen, there's this part where a side character says dark but dark, like in the Boston accent, right? And they're like, they have this sudden urge to dump tea in the Boston River, and I couldn't stop laughing. That character's sense of comedy is so funny. It's so my type thing, where it's very dry comedy. Like, I don't know if dry comedy, it's just like very matter of fact what's happening in the moment. Like no matter what's happening in the moment, they're gonna say or think something, and it's like just matter of fact said blandly and then moved on very fast, and I always find that funny. Anyways, it's a lot of American views on gender, like just on the ship ride to America, having to do with people thinking just because they're a soldier they must know about this war in Spain, or I think it was in Guam that just ended, right? So that's a fun time. And then also people assuming their gender, right, and having to decide what to do about that aspect, like trying to explain to every American that they come across what a sworn soldier is, or just letting people assume that they're male. And so, because part of the sworn soldierness is having shaved head, and then if you have natural breasts, binding them, and so like, and wearing pants. So naturally look male already based off of the sworn soldier look. So just going by that, also it'll be easier to get around. There was a joke about not having to shoot off kneecaps if they continue to be a man instead of a woman. Love that. So they're dealing with that. You know what the doctor needs help with. So his cousin has gone missing. And so this cousin has a weird obsession with caves, and it turns out the doctor has inherited this coal mine. That was very bad luck. So the cousin was like, hey, I'll go check it out. Sent a bunch of weird letters home about how the cave was very weird and was seeing weird lights in the cave and finding a weird empty cavern full of this like pearlescent stone that they couldn't mine up and all this stuff. Right? Like a lot of weird stuff. Like I've never been claustrophobic, but some of this being described was like me going, I'm good. me and the sworn soldier are the same that way. They're like, I never had to test if I'm claustrophobic, but I'm starting to think I am. Anyways, so they have brought the sworn soldier, their sidekick, employee, friend, assistant, all above, Angus, to help, because they work together in the mold, and he's like, I need somebody who will, even if you don't, like, that was your first experience, and what the fuck was that, then as well, at least you will, when weird shit starts happening, you won't start making up excuses on why the weird shit's happening. You will understand that weird shit's happening because you've already experienced weird shit. Also, apparently, there was like a hint in the first book. I read this so long ago, but I don't remember this. But there was something said about lights, and so when he brought up lights, in the letters, the main character was like, I didn't make that. Anyways, and then also the Doctor has hired a coal expert, who is part Native American. So he used to work in like inventing new ways to use coal, and all his work kept on being stolen from white men. And so he's kind of like a genius when it comes to coal, and wants to stop white men from stealing his work, so he's going to do other work. And this is something he can use his experience on that can't be stolen from. And also he'll be the cave expert, which seems to be important. Anyways, so they're on their where I'm at it now. I just finished chapter 3. They're on their way to the town that has the cave, has the coal mine, to try to find the cousin. There's also like this whole thing where a telegram was sent back, but the telegram was very weird. And it's assumed either the cousin had like an assistant as well and a dog, and it's assumed that maybe the assistant guy killed him to steal something that was worth something from the cave, and then couldn't like pretend to be him in writing because one hand writing, but also he wasn't very literate, so instead sent the telegram back. But the telegram was even weird, right? Like didn't sound like him at all. And then also there was stuff about things being stolen and them finding all that stuff in the cave later on when they were exploring. I don't know. So there might be 2 missing people and a missing dog. I'm scared for the dog. The cover has a wolf or a bear on it, and usually whatever is on the cover has a thing of import to do with the book. So I'm scared to be scared of that. Listen, I think the worst one was the hair from the first one, just because you know, that's like not something that you normally be scared of. And then that happened. The horse, listen, a horse could kick your head in, so I'm mildly scared of them. But that horse definitely would. And then this seems like a natural predator animal, so interesting that that's what's on the cover. Anyways, I'm gonna go read it and drink my coffee. Goodbye. I'll update you when I finish it. Update fast. I can check how long into the audiobooks, or not audiobook, ebook is due. Light of a Thousand Suns. Here, I'll check it on the computer. Libby. Loading. 3 hours. That's right, I was thinking it was due at 8, no, it's due at 10:30. I thought it was 8:30 for a hot minute there, and it is currently 7:30. Anyways, I'll switch to Discord, so it's not Light of a Thousand Suns. What Stalks the Deep? I gave 4.5 stars, which is the same that I rated the second one. I know that for a fact. Thoughts and opinions. One, it confirmed 2 things about horror for me, which is I dislike, therefore I enjoy in horror, if that makes sense. Weird things with reflections. If your reflection's wrong in a horror book, I'm freaking the fuck out. So that's great. The only other book I can remember doing this is 172 Hours on the Moon. There was like one very specific, like half of a page thing with that, and I freaked the fuck out in that book. With that, and similar thing happened in this, but it was like an actual whole section of the book. And I was like, two, a feeling of claustrophobia, but in a dark, cold way, if that makes sense. The examples including mines/caves, obviously. The ocean. I was thinking about what the book that scared me most was, and I think it is Into the Drowning Deep confirmed. Because I already have a fear of the ocean, but also like the claustrophobia of like not being able to see where you are because it's like so deep and so dark, and so you can't like see anything around you. And then similarly space, which is why I think space horror, when I find good ones, I love them. So that's fun. Speaking of claustrophobia, I made a joke. I think I mentioned something about Alex. That's their name, by the way. Alex. It took until like 2 thirds away before their name was said by another character, and I went, oh, that's their name. So that's fun. I think I mentioned Alex talking about or thinking about not being claustrophobic. No, that was like a running gag throughout the book, which was very funny. I am expecting another one at some point based off of how this one ended. We'll talk about it in a minute. We'll talk about it now, actually. Because it's not spoilerly at all. Also, it is a bear on the cover. It is a bear, and I was thinking, but the jaw looks more like dog or wolfish. Yeah, that makes sense for the book, actually. So I'm kind of funny there. Anyways, the ending, the like last 2 lines is another character saying to Alex, because they're planning to stay in America for a week or 2 after everything goes down, and this other character is all like, what's the chance of something weird happening in a week anyways, or something like that. And then in paragraphs, which is usually when the writing style is from the future, like most of the book is written as it is happening, almost like, right, like describing their feelings, what is happening in the moment with a little bit of hindsight in there. But the things in parentheses, did I say paragraphs instead of parentheses? I think so. The things in parentheses are usually things that Alex is thinking and or saying in hindsight from the future, as if they're writing this down as if it's happening in the moment, but like with their hindsight thoughts thrown in, right? If that makes sense. And the very last sentence is in parentheses. That's a story for another time. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another book at some point. That being said, I liked it, so I wouldn't mind. Like I've liked the whole series. I did figure out what the rest of them are, by the way. It was very quick to realize what the other two are. Like as soon as I stopped filming, I figured out what the other ones could have been for this, and it is planned for another thing, so it's fine. But I did quickly figure out what the other one was. Anyways, so that's the whole thing. The book itself is a combination in my mind, because a lot of the book take place in this mine, right? And it was reminding a lot of the descriptions of being in the mine, and them trying to navigate it was reminding me of the tower sections in the first Annihilation book. Which may be like a tower. It's technically it's one of the words used to describe it as a tower, but it like starts underground or it goes underground, and that whole aspect in that book what made me feel very similarly, in which I was like, it's like the claustrophobia, not fully understanding, like you can't see around you properly, like you're in this tiny little area, and so you can't like see where you're going fully, and so you can't see if something's following you. That whole aspect, claustrophobia of that, the getting easily lost if it wasn't very straightforward up and down in the tower, the straight lines in this, then you could easily get lost type thing. All that was reminding me of that aspect of Annihilation. It's also reminding me of the horror by David, I want to say Sorgerson, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong, which is Scotch horror. I read in October. The monsters between the two of them are similar-ish in some things they can do, and also their shapes, what they are, kind of. I'm trying not to spoil. Can you tell? Can you tell I already tried to explain this and then felt like I was spoiling too much, and so then I went back and trying to re-explain it in a not spoiling way. But also, I already brought up the red lights. There's a weird light thing. Be able to make lights. In both of those, so it's kind of like a combination of those two, but also the whole book is like this whole thing that's like, what makes a monster, because like it's a monster thing, but there's also another, I don't want to go to spoilers, but like it's this whole thing of like what makes a monster, because right, is it innately a monster because it's not human? It's like this whole aspect that's happening in this book, and that's a fun time. Anyways, 4.5 stars. My chicken nuggets are gonna be ready any minute, so I'm gonna go. Goodbye. I don't know which one of these I'll start next. I have 2 of them I got from the library today / yesterday. So actually I think both of them were today at different times of the day, but both today. So I should probably do those before I do the Kindle Unlimited and the ones I'm gonna buy. But I'll update you when I read any other of these. Goodbye. I call this look Winter Storm Cheek. You know what? I finally bit the bullet and bought mirror glasses. I did just grab these from my room just to show them off. There's mirrors in there, so you can lace. They're meant for reading. So you can like be completely lay down and still read, right? But I've heard from chronic pain / migraine people that they're good for that, because then you're not like laying and or sitting in weird positions with your neck in a weird position, causing tension migraines and all this other stuff. I still have a migraine, but that's because the weather and probably dehydration. It's fine. But anyways, I got these and a Kindle auto clicker just in time, and now I'm accidentally 77% of the way through the second book for this video, which is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I have thoughts and opinions. This is the sequel to Bride, which is the vampire werewolf one. This one is the vampire's best friend, closest thing to family she really has, who's an orphan. She was believed to be human her whole life, but turns out she's actually a human werewolf hybrid, which is like not a thing, right? And a other pack of werewolves, their alpha is her mate, right? And so it's their romance. Listen, hear me out. Up until around 70%, I was having a great time. Was a little predictable at points, yes. Since the end of Bride, clearly spoilers for all the books in the books that were before the ones I'm talking about. But in the process of Bride, during that one, she was kidnapped by vampires and humans to be experimented on, right? And so, this is like a few months after all that, and she's publicly out as like the first known were-human hybrid. She is dealing with health things. It is assumed, like, it's normally an elder werewolf disease, but it has happened in younger werewolves, and it's assumed that it is immune response to stress is what's causing it with her. But because of her hybrid genetics, she like none of the medications are working properly, and so she is dying. She's actually dying in this book, or at least that's what she thinks. I don't want to spoil it. She's not dying. A lot of this book is her just trying to deal with the chronic pain and whatnot as, I think his name's Cohen, the alpha, who is, they keep on saying she is his mate, but he's not hers, but I refute that. I very strongly don't believe that. Anyways, because she is attacked by vampires, because, different, people from the High Council of every species essentially wants her to experiment on her. So they keep on sending people to come after her, and she is almost harmed and kidnapped and assaulted. That's like how the book starts. She has to go with him to be safe, and they're gonna use her as like essentially bait to like she'll be very publicly with her mate, and then when the vampires try to break in, oh no, time to question you on who hired you type thing, right? Right, that's what's happening. And so because of that, she has to be close proximity to him, so he learns that she's dying, sends her to a doctor, another doctor gets a second opinion, they're like, yeah, she's dying. And then this doctor's girlfriend or partner or whatever, who works as like a midwife, is like, wait, actually, you're not dying, you're actually in heat. And what just needs to happen is you just need to bang this man. You know, and he figures it out because the first night that she's starting to go into heat, he's all like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, so she's not actually dying, woo! She's just going in heat, and the only person she wants to touch her is Cohen. And but here's the thing, the alpha of this specific pack, it needs to be celibate. There's like this whole rule about it. And so he took a vow of celibacy when he was 15. Dude, he has too much experience based off of that, but okay, sure, whatever. Sure, Jan. But she needs help because she's in her heat, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, they're trying to figure out also who her biological parents are. There was this evil... I can't believe I'm about to say the words out of my mouth. There was an evil werewolf cult, right? In which Constantine, the most cultish name I've ever heard, Constantine, his whole thing was that werewolves are superior, humans should bow down to them, right? And the humans who bow down to him and the other werewolves in his pack, they have a chance of becoming werewolves themselves, blah, blah, blah. And she is his secret child with a human woman. It is slightly hinted at when she's learning about all this stuff. It is briefly touched on. Like, this is the main issue that I'm about to touch on this book that I'm having, where the tone shift is very strong. It's very strong now, and now so like it goes very quickly into all the cult stuff and just info dump for like 3 chapters about all the cult stuff and how she's connected to the cult. And then where I'm at, it's like back to, oh no, I'm in my heat and now I need to fuck a man who's celibate. Okay. But there's also like this whole thing where like heavy topics are like touched on for 0.5 seconds and then breeze past. And I think like before the cult info dump, I was fine with it because with her traumatic childhood, just make light of everything. Sarcasm is my greatest weapon. Like, okay, yeah, I've gone through 5 major traumas in the past like 3 months. Who cares? Right? Type personality. The fact that like because of the experimentation done on her when she was kidnapped, she learns that she probably can't reproduce. At the same time as the whole entire public does, and also the fact that like even when she goes to like werewolf doctors, especially in Cohen's pack, they try to tell him and not her multiple times. And the first time he's like, yeah, this is normal. The second time he's like, no, I can leave. You should tell her, not me. And that feels weird. There's a sexual assault in the very first chapter, like all this stuff. And so imagine that, but like it's 3 chapters of very heavily, and it's very much a tonal shift, and I don't like it. A similar thing happened in Trek Anime where it was like a tone shift suddenly, and then it was supposed to go back to like the way it was before, but it didn't. Like, it felt weird, and that's why I didn't like Trek Anime as much. Despite loving like the first half. Anyways, so cool things. Her mother, so Constantine, had a thing where he had multiple human women whose whole job was to keep him entertained and taken care of. And her mother was one of them. She was like 19, 20 when she ended up pregnant with Serena. That's her name, right? I think it is. Yeah, no, she was like 19, 20. So, yeah, no, a girl who is raised in a cult is chosen as one of the many lovers of the cult leader who's like more than twice her age. Right? And she ends up pregnant. Like, you can... And it's, like, brought up as, like, in, like, one sentence, how that's a little icky. That's a little iffy. And then just breeze past. Anyways, yeah, essentially, there was this whole thing where, Constantine went up against the Cohen's pack, back when it was his mother in charge. It caused issues, so they fought back. Like, thousands died. Thousands upon thousands of werewolves died, so they fought back. And that's how Constantine, died, right? And she learns that's also how her mother died. There was, like, a whole thing where he essentially just kept on throwing a human woman between him and the werewolves. So that, like, they would have to kill human women to get to him, and her mother was just one of those. Yeah, just a totally great guy. Anyways, and they were also, like the children as well, but the children they kept on, like, taking to, like, social services, and then social services lied about a bunch of stuff about her, and so he just, like, assumed that social services was going to do the right thing, and left her there, and that's why she's been alone her whole life. Wow. Anyways, all that was predictable, like, all the stuff about, like, him killing her dad and mom up through, like, the social services stuff, because that was essentially the prologue. I went, oh, that's gonna be him and her. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. Okay. And so imagine my surprise. That didn't happen. Anyways, part of the reason why this whole info dump happens, and she learns all this stuff, is because they kidnap her, and then we get to experience multiple cult members, some brainwashed, some leaders, explain to her how actually she's in the wrong, and they aren't violent people. Just ignore the fact that we just drugged and kidnapped you. That was just a necessary evil that we had to do to get you here so we could explain it to you. And essentially the whole plan, is to have her, like explain everything to her to make her believe that Cohen's the bad guy and then have her kill Cohen, but she just like lets Cohen go. But because this took like so long in the day, she wasn't able to take the drugs to attempt to stop her heat, so now she's going to full-blown heat. And so now everybody knows except for her. This is another thing. It's like a lot of like, she's grown up as a human. She's been a werewolf for like 6 months, if that, right? So it's a lot of other people knowing things about werewolf culture and things, and then not explaining them to her, and then being annoyed that she doesn't know these things. And that's a pet peeve of mine. So that's like a thing, and it's very evident in this where I left off. Essentially, she's going to full-blown heat. She's got to bang somebody, and the idea of anybody touching her who isn't Cohen makes her want to like liquefy. So she's good, right? And she can't take the drug anymore. All this stuff, and essentially, nobody blatantly says that, hey, Cohen's gonna fuck you even though he's not supposed to, and we're all just gonna pretend that we don't know that this is happening. But it is heavily hinted by the doctor. Like, she's trying to get the doctor to like tell her anything. The doctor's like, yeah, no, I'll just like pretend like I don't know. We'll all just pretend and hope that nobody finds out, right? But like that you're basically keeping him on loan, and then you have to give him back because he needs to be our pack leader, and you're not good enough for him. And it's pissing me off. It was making my skin itch. That's a good way to put it. It was making my skin itch how people were just like not saying things to her and just like assuming she would know what they're talking about. It was also a thing in like all the medical stuff and health stuff where they were just like, oh yeah, heat, and she was just like, yeah, I totally know what that is. What the hell? So like it's been a mild issue throughout the whole book. Both the things, the random like deep dark shit just randomly popping up and then being breezed past, and also werewolf things not being explained to her, and she's just supposed to magically know this information, right? And both of those things bother me, but it just came to a total head after a tonal switch for like 3 chapters and then switch right back. And a combination of both those things is making me really rethink my I think my idea of me giving it 4 stars. I was gonna give it 4 stars, but I'm thinking 3.5 now. I still have a good like 100 pages to go, but that's my thoughts and opinions. I can talk too much about a book. It's my one skill in life. I can talk forever about books. Anyways, that's this book. I'll let you know when I finish it and maybe read the next one. Let's go. No, you don't hear the computer. Yes, I am streaming. Shush. Yes, I did change it to a different top layer sweater thing finally. Good times. I finished me. I can cross that off. Where's my pencil? 3 stars. Yesterday I already compared it to Check and Bait. Similar feelings, similar reasons why. This one was just more disappointing, right? Because I did really like Bride. And then also on top of that, listen, I was gonna say I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, but I am mad slightly for 2 reasons that have nothing to do with the book itself and mostly with my trackers, which is the book is 448 pages, and I have it for medium books to be books between 250 and 450 pages, which means it's just under large. You bitch. And the other reason is I was 0.03 away from having an average rating of 4 for the month, and now I'm gonna have to it's gonna lower. I'm gonna check right now. I'm gonna label it as 3 stars, and I'm gonna check right now. 3 monthly stats. Oh, right, now it's 3.92. It went down 0.05. I'm so mad. Anyways, okay, all my same complaints, but then also on top of that, the reason why it's a 3 and not 3.5 is there were 3 main issues. One, he's supposed to be celibate for legal reasons, for him being alpha, and because she's going to they have to bang like a lot. Like it's almost 10% of the book that is just them constantly banging. So that's fun. For her own sanity and health and whatnot, he has to do that, right? There's the fact that there's the vampires who are going after her, right? And she's technically there to be bait, so they try to like enter the wolf territory and then they can catch them at the border, right? And then the third thing is all the cult stuff being a problem, right? Let me tell you, I somehow left off right before the heat chapter that is like nearly 10% of the book. And then so that's happening. Apparently when that was happening for multiple days, right? Just off page, the whole vampire issue was solved. That's not a problem anymore. And then they do work together to fix the cult problem, and that was fine, I guess. And then like 10 pages after that, if that, Cohen comes home and he's all like, hey babe, you know how I have to be celibate? And they may try to make me step down because I am emotionally attached to you. Well, because in the cult things, she literally jumped in front of a bullet for him, and also stands up to him, and he lets her and whatnot, and he lets her go into danger if it's like she's bait or something. They were like, actually, you know what? Everything that was like the whole entire reason why we can't be a couple, not a problem anymore. Off page, not a problem anymore. And now they can be happy together forever. The end. And then the epilogue is them doing the bites, so they're fully mated now. I didn't care. The epilogue was way too long. Let me tell you, the epilogue should be 3 pages max, 5 pages max. That's my opinion. Anyways, that's the book. I read it. I gotta go shovel snow, and I'm not excited. So there's that. But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on Mate. 3 stars. I'm pretty sure I rated Bride 4.5. The good news is in order to make myself read it, I did put on my 26 into 26. So one of those books is knocked out pretty early on. We love that. I think one of the other ones is also on that list. It is the other library book. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I will update you when I read another book for this, or get a good chunk of the way through another book for this. Goodbye.
Hello, new view. Essentially I'm streaming. I forgot to record this before I started streaming today. My computer's loud.
and it's actually warm today. By that I mean it's like over 45 degrees. So this room, which is, as you can tell, a lot of windows up, it's a lot colder than early winter. But today it's warm-ish. So it's warm in here, warm enough where I can film, and whatnot. So here we are, me filming, because I finally finished another book for this. Here's the thing. The fact that I finished this book, because I am in one of those, okay, let me finish my thought. The fact that I finished this book alone should tell you that you should read this duology, right? Because I'm in one of those reading slumps where I want to read and I'm excited by the idea of reading, so I pick up a book, read it for a couple chapters or an hour or whatever, depending what format, and then I put it down and I never pick it back up. And that's like including this book and another book for this video, both of which I was very excited for. Like the other one for this video that I started already, that I'm not gonna talk about because I'm only 3 chapters in, right? Is like a sequel to one of my favorite books last year. Like I need help. Anyways, I'm in a slump. We're trying to work through it, okay? Anyways, I managed to finish the Eos Rising. I think is the name of it. I wrote it down as the Eos Key on my like sticky note of like the books that I could do for this. But the sequel is called Eos Rising. Eos Key is the first one, which I think I have a dedicated video for, which the author watched and commented on. It's only happened to me twice. The other one was Aristotle and Dante, the first book in that duology, on an Instagram post, which is so funny to me because I didn't like the first one, but I love the second one, and he doesn't know that. He just knows I didn't like the first one and liked my post. Anyways, yes, I have like a dedicated video to the first one. I read it, I think within a year it came out, so that would have been around 2022, 2021. Yeah, it's been a while, right? It is a confirmed duology. I wasn't 100% sure when I started it because, and whatnot, but then I noticed that the author, she's like writing one book at a time and it takes her a while. This is like, she has another job, right? Like, so I have, like, on her website and on her social media, she's talking about the first book of a new series. So I was like, okay, so like, is this one done? And then I finished the book and the ending is like an ending, so that's great. But I wanted to finish this one this month, confirmed. It's February. It's the last day of February. I wanted to finish it this month because it is the one on this list that is by a Black author. And so I just, right, you can clock where my thought process went. I was like, I should read this book anyways. It fits for this video. This seems like the perfect month to read it, right? Like everything lined up for me to read it. I recommend the audiobook. If your library card does Hoopla, it is on Hoopla. I was very surprised by that because this is self-published. It's one of those things where the author makes their own publishing company and then publishes it under that. But I was surprised by that. It is a full cast, which if you know anything about me, I'm not that biggest fan of, but I love her books in this way. So that's great. I think I own the first one as both ebook and audiobook because of that. Hilarious. And also I like wasn't that far into it when I remembered they think it was the narrator for Lucian's character. I think I was obsessed with his voice the first book, and I stand by that. All I'm saying is, based off of that man's voice. Anyways, Daddy Vampire, he is the father figure, and he is a vampire. Anyways, I rated this one 4 stars. The first one, I think I gave it 3.5. I like this one more. The first one was very, I think most of them, both of them have a lot of typical trope aspects that are in, does it count as urban fantasy? I think so. I can't tell what counts as urban fantasy half the time, but I think it counts as urban fantasy because I think it's in New York City or fantasy in New York City or something like that, right? So the first book was a lot of setup with her suddenly learning that one, magic is real, two, there are magical creatures, and her new boyfriend is a vampire, and she's actually, her mother was secretly a witch, or they're called magicians in this. Not only a magician, but like a super powerful magician, which makes her a super powerful magician, and that makes it so everybody wants her blood. She's put in danger because of it, and she's been hidden from this whole world, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that aspect, very predictable in the first book. This one had some more things where it was kind of predictable, but, and hear me out, throuple. I was trying to think of how to describe this in bed today, and the only comparison I could think of is Twilight, which I feel bad about, because this is so much better than Twilight. If you were around my age, and while reading Twilight, you thought process, Bella choose Jacob or Edward, how about both? Solves all issues. Throuple solve all issues. Yeah, if you thought that, her boyfriend, who she's kind of on a break with because of things that happened in book 1, is a vampire, and his best friend, who is taking care of her and helping her out a lot throughout this book, and because of their close proximity, but also like their emotional bond because he's helping her out, especially a lot mentally because she's learning a lot about her family and the trauma through the generations with it, and so that like affects her mentally. So he's there for her mentally, but also physically, and they're also in this confined apartment together a lot. So then they start getting close, but the two guys, and he's a werewolf, okay? He's a werewolf, but the vampire and werewolf are like best friends who sometimes like to get each other off, and also have had threesomes together before, and they both happen to be in love with her, right? That you can tell what is my favorite part of this book. And so The moral of the story is, I want more books with purples. Please give me recommendations. I don't know. I do need to read Heavenly Tyrant at some point, but yes, I know about that one. That was the one that really started the purple obsession with me, and then Katie Robert happened. Anyways, yeah, no, so they're both in love with her, but they have this, there's also like a bunch of stuff where like they have this intense bond full of history and so many dynamics going on. So it's like they're together, but also both with her, and the three of them. Yes. Anyways, essentially the whole entire book is her being hunted down by like two different factions, for her blood. She essentially, magicians are mortals who learned how to use magic to protect themselves from the supernatural, like werewolves, vampires, demons, whatnot, right? And the main character's ancestor, I believe, was the first one to be able to do this, so she, like, their family line is the most powerful, but also the most important, and so the, like, bad guys, I put this in quotes because they're all bad guys, I'm gonna be honest, but the real bad guys, want her and her blood in order to protect themselves, because they think, the power of the Eos key, or the power of the Eos, I think the key is something else, but the power of the Eos, could, like, break down the whole entire system of supernatural creatures. And so they want her so that it can't be used against them, and they can use her for themselves. And then the good guys want her and her blood in order to enact their revenge and be the most powerful beings by using her to destroy the bad guys. So, like, it's her kind of being in hiding. It's very much like Bloodmarked in the Legendborn series, the second book in the Legendborn series. It reminded me a lot of that, but if it was Thrupples, which I wish, and a lot of fire magic. And also New York City. I don't actually know if it's New York City, I just imagine it's New York City. Anyways, so it's like her trying to figure out how to be a magician, her past, because like a lot of her family history has been literally hidden from her and blocked from her, so she's trying to figure out all that stuff, figure out her relationship with two different guys, right, trying to have friendships, trying to just survive, and but also like live life whilst trying to survive. Like, it's not worth just surviving, you gotta like actually live as well type thing. It's this whole aspect throughout the book. Anyways, and in the end, things happen. I'm gonna be honest, the epilogue, I think it was, maybe it was technically the last chapter. One of them was very obvious. Let's just say, there was a fake out death that was very obvious. One, if you look at the cover, but also if you, like, just read the book. Anyways, the end, 4 stars, it was good. I love Thrupples. That's the moral of the story. Give me more Thrupples. Anyways, that's it. I'm not going to go read one of these again next, because I have to read other things. Trying to finish one more book before the end of the month. So I keep on pushing this back. This is like, I've pushed it back like 3 times, in case you're wondering, because I just keep on not picking up books, or picking up books and not finishing them. Because I did pick up this one and the other one that I have started around the same time, and then I put both of them down for like 2 weeks. It's fine. Anyways, goodbye. Oh, good. I recommend this duology. Clearly, I had a great time. And also, I finished a series. Let's go. Hello, hi. Finally read another book for this. I finally did it. So everybody clapped. Everybody clapped. I read book 2 of the City of Phantom series. I just call it the Rebel. No, wait, that's the one I just read. I call it the Dagger of the Flame series. Because that's the first one. Which, okay, there's like, it's in a bunch of videos. It was in the 2024, I guess. Reading 10% of every 17 book, because in like December they have like 25 of them. So I read 10% of every single one. And that was one of the ones I decided to continue, and I rated 5 stars when I finished it. Now, that whole aspect is not, it's in a video, but I didn't realize I hadn't finished that video until I finished a book for that video yesterday. And that's not supposed to come out until next month. Whoops. So if you want to see that whole reading journey, there's that. Yeah, I rated it 5 stars, so I was like really excited when Rebel and the Rose came out. 1, because it had my name in it. 2, roses are important. We're already important for the relationship, but let me tell you, it's really important in this book. She is the rose. Roses are like a symbol of the kingdom, and it's all this stuff. It's really complicated. It's really complicated to explain it, so with 0 context. So just know she is the rose, and she is the thorn in his side, a different guy's side. I should mention that. That Ransom, who is the love interest. And I kind of love him so much. Anyways, that's the book I just finished. I read The Road just now. Also, the cover's blue. That's the other thing. And I can gravitate towards blue books. Now, this was initially a duology. This is the whole thing. I thought me doing this would be finishing the series, not catching up, right? Maybe this, I think the only one that wouldn't be finishing a series would be the next one, the last one for this video. Every other one, I think, would be finishing the series, because they're all duologies. Except, it was coming down to like the last 4 chapters. I was like, this doesn't feel like an end. And it was the last chapter. I was like, this doesn't feel like an end. And then the epilogue happened, and I was like, this isn't an end. And so then I had to Google. I had to go to the power Google, because Goodreads still has it up as a duology, but it was announced when they, when this one was released, that, hey, actually, even though this was originally bought as a duology, and these are like thick books. Like, this one was 530 pages, 528 to be exact. I know for a fact Dagger and Flame is over 450. Like, these are thick ones already, right? And it's a Simon Teen imprint, so like they're not gonna like sell them as like very chunky books, right? So my guess is what happened is that she had more to write, and so they were like, okay, since the Dagger and Flame sold enough, I assume they allowed her to split up into 2 books, like what happened with the Legendborn series. That was supposed to be a trilogy, and now look at us. Essentially the same thing, because it's the same imprint actually. I am 98% sure of that, actually, in this exact moment. Anyways, so I got to go Google that and learn that it doesn't come out until November 24th. So excuse me as I sit here and wait for November 24th. Do I rate this one 5 stars? No. Mostly because a lot of stuff in the ending was very predictable. I did like the end fight battle thing, chaos, better in this one than the first one, because the first one was harder for me to understand what was happening in the book. It was a lot of lightning and weird stuff was happening, okay? This one I was able to understand what was happening much easier. But what was happening, I guess that was what was gonna happen. So I was just like, okay, but maybe that's why I was able to understand, because I had already guessed it. I don't know. So that's like the main reason. The Seraphina and Ransom dynamic, I will explain what the series is in a minute. I still love it. I love them so much. The side characters are eating. There's like one part with a guard that I'm not the biggest fan of. So I think I'm gonna go with 4.5, but just know that I did love it. I did love it, and I had a great time. This vlog is great for me, because this is a lot of, mine's me, really. It's a lot of me reading books that I've been excited to read anyways, and because it's me continuing series, right, that I am, this is like, before this I was caught up in, that means that I like it enough to read them as they come out, which means I'm already enjoying the series. So this is a great video for me, personally. Anyways, what is this series about? This is about, so the first one is Romeo and Juliet, but she's a thief and he is, I keep on wanting to say the dagger. That is the title. He is a dagger. That's what they are, but they're assassins. There's like shadow magic. Thieves wear it as like clothing to hide in the shadows and steal. And then the daggers drink it and slowly poison themselves to death and use it to assassinate people. Right. The first one is about her. Her mother was recently killed. Like, she witnessed the murder of her mother by the daggers. She's on the run. She joins the cloaks for protection because they're like enemy factions, and so because of rules by the king, they can't fight each other, or else full chaos will happen, right? So because of that, she joins the cloaks so that the daggers can't kill her. He is ordered by the head of the daggers, who is like a father figure to him, essentially adopted him when he killed his abusive father, and then went on the run, and he takes in this little orphan boy and forces him to drink shadow magic that will slowly kill him. He's like, I'm like a father to you, bitch. I don't like that man. Nobody likes that man. Anyways, Ransom is ordered to keep an eye on her, and so she's raised up from the cloaks, right? Kill her. Except he's like, I feel weird about killing her. She seems like a nice girl, and then he like sneaks in through her window at points, and then they kiss sometimes, and then the end of the book happens, right? With some revelations that I'm not gonna talk about, but some revelations. And then there's lightning, and she's struck by lightning, and he becomes the head of the daggers in order to protect her, because they all want to go after her. But in order to protect her, he gives up his own freedom to give her freedom. This one starts with her using, also part of the book was that there was shadow monsters, right, that her mother created. And so in the process of finding the shadow monsters in the first book, she learned out a new light magic type thing. It's like the shadow magic already being used, but the opposite, so it can counteract it. So it stopped the monsters, and she wants to use it to stop the use of the dark magic in general, because she's seeing it literally take over his body and soul. Like, the man she loves, body and soul, is literally dying and being taken over in mind by this stuff, so she wants it to be like taken out by this stuff. So she's like kind of being a foil to his whole entire operation by doing this. But also fun fact, when she was hit by that lightning, she actually became a saint. She's a saint. She has light powers, but she also can make other saints, which means this whole entire book is essentially they're ordered by the king to go off and kill the other saints, one of them being his nephew, and then there's a bunch of conspiracy things happening, stuff behind the scenes, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's really good. It's a lot of them like her trying to trust him, because he is a dagger and also the head of the daggers now, right? Like, he kills people, and all this stuff, and also like saints are being assassinated by him, and she is secretly a saint, right? And she's also trying to figure out her saint power and all this stuff. So she has the power of, like, it's like the light magic that they learn how to make is in her body, so she can take the shadows away from him. Ooh, but she also can make saints. It's her whole thing. And so she, if you think about it, she is the lightness that will rebuild the society, and he's the assassin of the shadows who will kill anybody for her. And I love their dynamic so much. So much, especially near the end. Like, was it predictable? Yes. Did I love it? Yes. 4.5 stars. I have to read another book before I can read the last book of this one. Hopefully I can read that one very fast, because this is supposed to go up. I have pushed this back like 4 times now, and it kind of needs to go up this week. So I'm gonna do that. The next one is the sequel to the only witchy romance I have enjoyed, and they also have shadow powers. One of them has shadow powers. It's like Shadow Daddy mixed with witchy romance, but bookish. Well, the first one was bookish. I don't know if this one's bookish, and I know the third one's gonna be plantish. Anyways, I'm thinking I can read that fast, because the first one I read, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, because I don't remember the title of it. I'll tell you next time I update you. I do remember when I read the first one, I very kindly got on the arc. Stupid Instagram didn't inform me there was an arc sign up for this until like a week before the book came out. So that's why I didn't have it, and I had to wait for it to come out. Sad, very sad. But that one I read, I think I got it like a week before I was going on a flight, and I decided to just pick it up on the flight. And I read the whole thing on a flight. from San Diego, while also texting Bessie everything about it, and we were having a great time just chatting about it. The poor woman next to me had to both see me reading this at times very sexual book with his shadow powers, and also texting Bessie about it laughing. Anyways, I read like most of it on that plane ride. Like in like a 6-hour plane ride, I think between the two plane rides, I think it was like 6 hours at least of active reading while chatting with Bessie. So I think I can do it fast. Okay. That's the update. I will talk to you later. I just have the energy of enjoying a book that I really enjoyed, and we should all be happy about this. Hear me out. Look at this cover and tell me, do you get from this cover that they're gonna 69 at 69% of the way through? I am not joking. Also, their sex pet names for each other are Professor Raven Daddy. I'll explain why in a minute. And Dirty Little Mushroom. What the cover does bring across is that she's a plant witch, especially with mushrooms. Right, and so that's why hers. He's literally her chemistry professor, and his last name is Ravenblood, so Raven Daddy. Anyways, I read this book, so I'm finally done with the video. I did it. I'm gonna talk about it. I liked parts of it. I didn't like other parts. I did look up my review. The first one I read as an arc, so I actually wrote a review for it. Thank God, so I could see if I had similar thoughts and opinions. Despite giving that one 4 and this one 3. Things that apparently I have the same issue with in that one, which I think this book helped me realize is an issue I have with witchy romances. The first book in this series is historically the only witchy romance I've actually ever enjoyed. I keep on trying. I don't like any of them. I think it's a power dynamic, especially since in a lot of them, the XX, which is somewhere in all these books that I'm trying to get rid of, right? The XX is a perfect example of this, in which the witchy aspects, their powers are used in a way to cause a power dynamic thing, which is not an issue in this series, because they are demons. The men are demons, the women are witches. That's the thing. And I have historically liked monster smut in which the female character is a witch. So it's something with like usually sometimes the magic is accidentally used against the male character, or I don't like when a main character, like especially in a romance, when one of them hides a very important part of themselves or their identity, and usually because they're human men, they have to hide the fact that they're witches from them. The other witchy romance I read this year is that's like a whole big aspect of it. I don't like that. So yeah, that's that. So I like this witchy romance better than most. I'll give it that. Anyways, what I was saying was the issue I generally have with them on top of all that, right, is the magic systems are never explained. Maybe one or two I can think of that they were, but the other one I just mentioned were normally issues as well, so it's just like, okay. I apparently had the same issue in the first one, where I understood not really anything that was happening magic-wise. This one was even worse. They just kept on saying things, and I was just like, huh, what does that mean? Especially the fact that she's a cottagecore witch, but she's a plant witch, but she's also the closest to the goddess level witch, but she's also a Persephone witch, which is important because he's a reaper. His shadow personality, because the shadows have their own personalities. His shadow personality is a reaper, and his name's Krim, like Grim. So he's a Hades, and she's a Persephone. I wish I was joking. Anyways, I'm gonna start with things I like. Things I like is 90% of the time the dynamic between the brothers and their father. That was fun. I know I was gonna start with things I don't like. But I'm gonna say something I don't like. The dynamic between the sisters, I did not like that much in this one. They are constantly fighting. There is a point where she's doing an end boss battle thing against one of the evil demons we will talk about in the not like section. She is literally being attacked actively. One of her sisters shows up, and then the other sister shows up, and there's this whole thing where they're bantering, but not like fun bantering, not even like Marvel quipping. They're bantering as in they're fighting type of bantering. You know when you do with your sibling when you're saying things to like slightly hurt them, because you want to dig them. You know, is that a normal thing? That was just happening. I was like, guys, now is not the time to make jokes about how her magic's broken. Like, also especially since we all know that her magic is broken because she was poisoned, and this is the bitch who poisoned her. Like, this is not the time. Like, multiple animals are dying around you, and one of you, your magic abilities is around animals, and you're bantering about how your worm is missing and all this stuff, and how her magic's broken. Haha, that's so funny. Like, now's not the time. I did not like that dynamic. The brothers' dynamic was much better than the sisters. I don't know why. In this one, they were like, every scene was fighting. There's one scene I can remember where they weren't fighting, and that, I will talk about that in the positives in a second. Actually, I'll talk about it right now, because in this scene, Victoria, who is the main character in the next one, she is a little bit larger in size, especially in comparison to her sisters. Their mother isn't described much, so I don't know if what her body type is, but Victoria is bigger in size. They are dress shopping. Grace and Victoria. Now, Victoria is, her recent past has been divorce and surviving breast cancer. She's going through a lot, okay? And Lucy, the youngest, Grace is the youngest, the second youngest, the middle one, has recently fallen in love with a demon. And, which was the whole entire first book, right? And so she's very jealous that she gets to have, hot demon sex. Meanwhile, her as the older sister, is, unhappily divorced with her husband who cheated on her, and may also abuse, I don't know, but also survived breast cancer and currently has one boob, and also she has a lot of body image issues with being bigger and feeling like nobody will appreciate, the body she has, so that's why she's not getting any. Now, thing I do like, this is why we're bringing it up. A lot of this scene is like her just complaining about Lucy and how she has somebody. Girl, shut the fuck up. It's to the point where Lucy's engaged in this one, but she won't tell anybody that isn't Grace because her sister already hates on her, and the fact that she's in a relationship and she's not. Victoria herself isn't in a relationship. Like, that's just a whole dynamic in this book. I don't, it makes no sense. I don't like it. But in this dress shopping scene, she is talking about her body a lot and looking down upon it, right? And Grace is very much trying to be like, hey, no, like, any man who doesn't appreciate this is not worth being with anyways, like all this stuff, right? Now, this is important because this is why we get to why I like, because Krim, his whole thing is that, yes, he's her chemistry professor. We don't need to talk about it. Technically, class is canceled because somebody burned down his lab, so it's fine. And she has failed 3 times already, or 2 times, I think, technically. I think this is her 3rd year. But he's decided before they're gonna bake that he's just gonna pass her anyways. So it's fine. And open a bakery with her. Iconic. Anyways, he, because of working 2 jobs, technically, because, during part of the first one, the brothers owned a demon bar together named Shadow Daddies. They're closing it down because both the other brothers have other work. And he does as well. He's a chemistry professor, right, at a college, at the nearby college, right? But also, his dream is to run a bakery. Open and run a bakery. And so, because they already own this building, the plan is he's going to gut it and then turn it into a bakery, right, and run it. That is his plan. Now, because of this, 1, he has not had time to work out as much, and 2, and maybe, like, if you're tearing stuff down inside of a bar, maybe that's working out. No, because magic's being used for that, especially his ghost cat. No, don't ask. There's a ghost cat. Best character, honestly. But 2, because he's opening a bakery, he's baking a lot, and then those treats gotta be eaten, so he's eating a lot more sweets, and he's not working out as much, so he's got love handles now, and he is very uncomfortable about this idea. Now, what's funny about this is before we even learn this about him from his POV, we see her POV thinking the fact that he's almost bursting out of his shirts at this point, very hot. And then the first time she sees him shirtless, she's very into it. And the fact, like, this whole dynamic is like a thing we learn throughout the book, and it's well done. That's a thing I like. I think we have to get to what I don't like. Okay, this is my main issue with this whole entire book. On top of the, like, me not understanding the magic system, this one, it was more of a knowing me thing in this one than it was the first one, apparently. Now, hear me out. 250 years or something. He's about to turn 316 years old in this book. Nowhere for the age dynamic. When he was a young adult, like early 20s, he worked for what is essentially the government for the demons, right? Being a shadow alchemist. Don't ask, I don't know. Now, he was looking into this formula. A lot of other demons were not into him looking into that formula. So, what happened is 2 female demons tortured him for a very long time. Okay, that's fine. He's got scars. He's got chronic pain because of the scars. That's great. I love that. We could have left it there. Now, reminder, this whole book is supposed to be cottagecore witchy vibes. So explain to me why this whole time, as we slowly learn more and more about this time, between context clues, such as the only person who knows about what happened is his father, and that he doesn't want his brothers to know. He is embarrassed to tell Grace anything about it, which is a big issue for their whole entire relationship. There's, like, she can physically see the scars that are not just on his back, but are also on his groin area. Yep, we're getting to what the issue is here. The female demons are succubi. I'm pretty sure that's the multiple for succubus. They're succubi. We get to know a great deal about one of the tools they used. I don't know how to say this. It is a ring for a phallic part of your body, but for pain, not pleasure. There. Right? There is one part near the very end, where he says something about how, sex hasn't been the same for him, since. Like, sexual connection has not been the same for him since. As you can tell, this is like all the context throughout the whole entire book. Okay, about this, as you can tell, you can easily clock that some form of sexual violence was part of the torture. And very obvious plot-wise, the plot whole thing is that there's suddenly some shadow creatures here attacking Grace. For some unknown reason, I honestly do not know why. I think they're just attacking her because he clearly likes her, and one of the shadow demons, they're the succubi. It was very obvious. And very obviously one of them was the woman, the other professor that he was sleeping with on occasion, and then she clocks that his intentions are now on this witch, who's his student, so they attack her, I think, because it's explained that the reason they want her is because she has this pendant he gave her, and they need that pendant. But he doesn't give her that pendant until after they attack her, and it's to protect her. So it makes 0 sense. But that's not the point. The point is, who they are pretending to be is so fucking obvious. I guess that's so early on. Anyways, yeah, as you can imagine. Yeah, no, there's also a thing where, like, the woman who enacted sexual violence against him in a way that still affects him emotionally, and also bodily, like, at times, tricked him into having sex with her multiple times. And I thought it was weird at one point, the one time we see them have sex on page, which I essentially just watched this man get R-worded. right? Because part of the thing is like succubi can make you feel pleasure even though you aren't actually into it. So like he doesn't know why he's continuously having sex with her even though he's not into her like that. Like it was supposed to be a one and done type deal, right? And so I had to, looking back, that's a weird thing I had to read. I feel even worse now about this whole dynamic. But I don't even know where I was going with that. My brain just broke thinking about that. Oh yeah, in the beginning when she's doing that, when they are doing that, and she comes onto him, it is clear whenever she's like basically not in the same room and she's trying to like sext him, he's not into it. It's very clear he's not into it. And then she walked in the room and she's being very pushy. I was like, at best, she's pushy right now. At worst, he just got pressured into sex, and I felt weird about it. And then I learned, or not learned, I context clued all this information, and then I went, this is even worse than I initially thought, right? And this is where I remind you again, this is College Core Vibes. It only lightly touches on this. It's only context clues. You gotta read between the lines to figure all this out. And so it's like either I didn't want to go all the way there because this is supposed to be cottagecore, but then don't, like, it's okay if he was tortured in the past and he's scarred because of it and she helps him through it. And I don't think he even ever tells her fully. I'm not 100% sure on that. And it's like a part of their relationship why she has issues fully committing to him. Like I would get that, right? But then like don't put the sexual violence in. It's that easy. And the fact that it's even worse looking back on it, it's. Anyways, I do love how both of them are soft because she kills him. The second one accidentally. She just accidentally killed her. And she's like, whoops. And they're all like, ooh, let's all have coffee. Anyways, I would like everybody to know the most important part about this book is that it is 3 sisters and 3 brothers that are all ending up with each other. Like, they're all pairing up. But also at the end of this book, I realized about 25% of the book, both their dad and their mother are widows. And then, in the very end, Grace and Krim set up their widow parents together. At least Thanksgiving will be easy, I guess. You don't have to worry about so many in-laws because all the in-laws are also your in-laws from you being your in-laws, which are also your in-laws. What the fuck? Anyways, I'm gonna go. Yes, I did wear this strawberry and bookish headband and earrings set just because I was reading this book today. Thank you. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I gotta edit this thing. I'm not talking about how long I have until this is supposed to go up. It's been pushed back too many times. End of video stuff, subscribe. I think I'm supposed to tell you that. I actually do, because that actually helps a lot. And also apparently there's been a thing where quarterly, YouTube will just remove a chunk of your subscribers, which explains so much. I would be at like 125 right now, or not 225 right now. That's how math works, 225 right now, but they did that. And I was like, wait a second, why did it drop so much? That's why. Comment, because that also helps. I've come to realize, it's annoying, I know, but you gotta do that, and all that jazz. And link below is all the things. If you want to buy books, funny story, I do have Pango books down there. There are plenty there. Other things and stuff, linked below. I Twitch stream, like, almost every single day. I'm Twitch streaming right now. They can probably see my hand right now. That's why we're filming here. Speaking of Twitch streaming, Wednesdays are slightly edited down streams of me gaming, so that's a Wednesday thing. Saturdays are more book-ish videos. I like this one. The next one, I know for a fact, I know what it is. It is a book in which, or it's a video where I read one single book. It's a dedicated book video. Not a weird smut. I don't think I say that. It's connected to the time I read Only Revolutions. And that did have weird smut in it. But yes, it is a continuation of me reading the weirdest book I own. But it's part 2, it's together weirdest book I own. So that will come out next week. The end. Goodbye. I gotta go do that. I also gotta wash my hair. Like, this took so much time out of my day. The end. Goodbye. Until the next video.